Welcome, everybody. It's our official starting time now. Some of you already said hello in the chat room. And those of you who are just joining us now, please feel free to say hello from the chat room. We can just take a moment to notice some of the people that are here. If you can look, if you open up the chat room, to see a whole bunch of people all over the world. We're literally from all parts of the globe here. It's wonderful to have you here. And we'll just kind of let this sink in. So Florida, Toronto, Pennsylvania, India. There's somebody here from South Africa, I saw earlier, Switzerland, India, again. And a few from here in Moscow, Idaho. And while we're seeing people sign in, I wanted just to let you know who the players are behind the screens, because this doesn't happen by me alone. I don't do it by myself. So there's Lauren, my wife and life partner, who I hope is here. I'll see her up. She should be upstairs now. I'm gonna.
She's waving at you.
You keep waving. There you are. I see you. So Lauren's saying hello to all of us. Put her on spotlight just for a second so everybody can see her. So I'll say hello to Lauren. And I don't think Keith is here yet. He's going to be helping us with the breakout groups. He said he would be a little bit late, so hopefully we'll get here in time to do all that. Also here is Lorena. She's here from California. She's waving there, and I'll put her on spotlight just a second so she can just say just a quick hello. And you're muted, so I'm.
Okay, now, yeah? Okay. Hi, I can't hear you now, huh? I lost the audio from yours, Dave. But I'm Lorena from Santa Cruz, California, and Mexico as well. Very happy to be here with you.
Dave, you're muted.
Okay, now. Yeah, Dave was muted. Now I can hear it. Yeah.
Well, it always takes a few minutes to get things sorted out. So welcome to everybody. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. And I was thinking about this, and it takes a village to maintain and to create Palouse Mindfulness. In addition to Lauren and Lorena and Keith assisting with the Zoom meeting, there are many people you don't see. There's Patricia Bermudez Gonzalez, who helps me with the Spanish student requests, and Moira Novak, who helps with the English ones. Rosie Harris, who recently helped me widen the diversity of the teachers represented on the site. There's the 30 graduates who translated the Spanish version of the course. Natasha Fedunina, who's almost single-handedly translated the Russian version, which is just about to be released. Anderson Rocha, who's coordinating the work of 10 others who are translating for the Portuguese version. There are so many people involved. Sue Weavers, who's helping with the web-related work. And that doesn't include the hundreds of students and graduates, yourselves included, who've helped me refine the course through questions and through sharing of your experiences. And of course, it can't go without mentioning John Kabat-Zinn, who created the course on which this is based. And have to acknowledge all the other teachers who have taught me, many of whom have generously allowed their videos and writings to be part of the course. And even with a long list, this one I'm sure to have forgotten some who are making important contributions. And then there's you. This meeting wouldn't be happening if I were here all alone. It takes you to make this happen. So if you think about it, and I've been thinking about this for a little while now, there's really nothing that happens because of only the work of a single person. And I don't just mean the obvious partnerships like Orville and Wilbur Wright, or Simon and Garfunkel, or even Thomas Edison. Did you know he had 200 workers working with him on his inventions? It wasn't just him. Every single thing we do or have involves many, many people. If you think of the Raisin meditation and how many people are involved, farmers, field workers, packers, truck drivers, grocery stockers, clerks who bring us our food. If you think of the house or the building you're living in, Someone had to build it, and you get your electricity and water thanks to the work of others. Even something as solitary as writing or journaling involves pen and paper or computer and electricity. These are things other people invented, manufactured, or supplied of the tools that we use. So welcome everybody. Like last time, I've invited people who are currently taking the course but haven't yet finished it to join us. We did this last time and had people tell me that they really enjoyed having both students and graduates in the same group together. So we'll continue to do that. And I'm very excited about this because it's wonderful to have both new students and people who are experienced graduates as well. So in a few minutes, we're going to do a meditation and then we'll break into our small group. So we're all set for the breakouts when they happen. We're going to go into a meditation now, and it will be about 15 minutes or so. Let me get things set up here. And if you could just kind of make yourself comfortable wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, and just kind of check in with yourself. We'll begin the meditation now. The first part of it will be guided, and the last few minutes of it will be silent, and I'll end the silence with a bell. And as you're sitting there, just let yourself sense into what's happening right now for you in your body, your thought stream, what you're thinking and feeling. Letting yourself feel the support of the floor, whether it's your feet on the floor or you're sitting on the floor. Actual sensations, contact, of touch, of warmth or coolness. Feeling how you're supported by the chair or the cushion or the couch you're sitting on. Noticing how your arms are resting on your sides or in your lap. And when you're ready, sensing into your breath, wherever it is you feel that the most vividly. Maybe your belly or your chest or your throat, or feeling the air move through your nostrils. And there's no need to try to make your breath be any different than it is. You're breathing just fine. It's just noticing how it's moving. Feeling this breath. Letting your breath move on its own. And seeing if you can be aware of the whole cycle of breath. Not just the breathing in and the breathing out, but there's also that pause at the beginning of an in-breath or the completion of an out-breath. And noticing how you don't need to control any of that. You're just letting it move as it moves. And if your attention goes somewhere else to thoughts or memories or something you've gone into analysis about, just noticing that. That's part of the meditation as well. And coming back gently to sensations of breathing. And as you're sitting there, seeing if you can recall a time when you accomplished something really significant, completing a big project, earning a college degree, learning to play an instrument or an athletic accomplishment. Just letting whatever comes to mind. There may be several things. And as you settle on one, whatever this was, recognizing that it involved the support of other people. Could be family or friends or coworkers. Maybe even people you may not know, have known at the time were involved. Letting yourself really feel the web of interconnection that was involved with this event or this accomplishment. And as you're feeling and appreciating how others have been involved in what you've done, acknowledging and recognizing how you've contributed to others, how you affect others in ways known and unknown, subtle and unsubtle. Recognizing there's truly nothing that isn't connected. If you can see it, feel it, hear it, know it, it's part of your universe. And you're a part of everybody else's universe. Intimately and richly connected. The last part of our meditation, the next 7 or 8 minutes, will be in silence. You can continue on this theme or focus on breath or whatever else you would like to focus on if it's a focusing meditation for you. Making it your meditation. This is your time. And we'll end the meditation with the sound of the bell. And now we have a few minutes before we need to close formally. It's about 10 past now, and we've got about 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes left for question and answer. So any questions you'd like to ask of me or of the group, or any comments you'd like to share to the whole group. And Lauren will be moderating this. So if you just wanted to raise your hand, if you had a question to ask or something to share, Lauren will see that and will spotlight you so people can see you and unmute you so you can be heard. And I'm not seeing any hands. You see any, Lauren?
Jivan from Ireland. Just,
There we go.
I don't know if Jivan is male or female.
Female, I think I saw her.
I'm female. I get that all the time. It's a name I got from Pune, from the Osho commune in Pune. So it's not my original Irish name. Just to say, I mean, 30 minutes flew by. It was amazing. I just want to thank you, Dave and Keith and Lorena, I think. It was just absolutely amazing. So much heartfelt sharing, and I think so many ideas of things to go forward with, ideas of other kinds of meditation, like dance meditation, virtual Camino. Yeah, it was a fantastic 30 minutes. And also your meditation was wonderful. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. It's nice to see you in person and have see who you are and just your name.
Well, you see,
email.
the physical anyway, the rest of it is a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Quite
You're so
welcome.
generous.
The
So
time does go very quickly. You know, I just want to have more time to me, the time when you can speak with each other and meet other people who are doing the similar discipline is so helpful, you know, because it makes it brings a sense of community rather than a solitary experience, which meditation can often be. So anyone else? I see Preeti has got a hand up.
Yep, Preeti, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dave. I'm really, really grateful to you for putting up this whole website. And for me, this experience with other 4 people was so exciting that somewhere you align that we have same fears and anxiety. And everybody is looking at utilize this time for growing self. And I've connected personally with you. I was doing research in mindfulness, and I don't know whether you remember. Let's see how it goes. But I'm really thankful to you. And this course, I'm sharing it with the group that I was looking for my research MBSR, and then I just thought that this course is very expensive. I have to go abroad and do this course, how it's going to be. And this is the time of COVID. And there I come across this website, and I get all the information. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to you.
Well, you're quite welcome. And Preeti, remind me where you're from?
India.
India. And what time is it there right now?
It's at 11:30 right now.
11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Well, glad to have you here. And thanks for sharing what you did.
Questions? Or
Dahrana Manoj, she's raising her hand.
Yeah, my name is Dharna. It's an Indian name. I'm from India. Yeah, thank you, Dave, for making the material so easily accessible to everyone. First of all, I'm really thankful that I came across this course. My question is that I have been into meditation since the past 8 years, and this course has only added a lot more meaning to my life. So I want to take it ahead in terms of career. Like I would want to be a mindfulness trainer or an instructor so that I can share my knowledge with everyone and deepen things inside myself at the same time. So would you suggest me some particular course which I should go ahead? Like I had seen on your website wherein you had mentioned a few links for few courses, but then uh, see, I'm personally very confused. How should I go about it? So if you could help me through it, because I'm really looking forward to go ahead into mindfulness
Yeah,
as a career.
yeah, and you've got a lot of company. There are many people that would want to do this as either as a career or doing it as in bringing what they already do using mindfulness in that regard. And help me with the pronunciation of your name, Dharana. Is that
No, it's dharna.
Dharna?
Yeah.
Is that better, Dharna?
Yeah,
and-
dharna. Yeah.
And Dharna, where are you from?
I am from Kolkata, India.
Uh-huh. As you probably noticed, there are not a lot of training programs right in India for teacher training.
Correct.
And you've looked on the website under resources for the programs that do teacher training, and there's lots of, I mean, the screen's full. There's lots of choices there.
Yes.
Many of them are very expensive and take a long time, and so something to consider. And something I should ask you is what is your work? What do you do professionally, or what is this? Are you a student or are you working?
No, as of now, I'm not working. I have a background of computer science engineering backed up. Like then I went for an MBA in human resource. As in my education line is very different. Yes, I love HR, and I have I'm very fond of psychology as a subject. And but yes, I have been into this meditation and stuff since, as I said, about the past 8 years, and it helped me grow as a person a lot. And I was looking forward, like when I worked in the field of digital marketing for about 2 years, but then there were situations like my mother, there were various situations which wherein I had to quit my job, and I was with my mother for some time because she was not well. And then when I went, like when I thought, really gave it a thought, what I want to do really in my life, I realized that I should, when I'm having so much love for mindfulness and meditation, I think I should go ahead and pursue it as a career. So yes, that's what it is. Yeah, this is what it is. I like psychology, and I'm looking forward to be a mindfulness trainer or an instructor.
You know, if I might add, this is Keith. You, with your HR background, it might be possible to find a company that you could work in their HR department that would fund you having some training in MBSR to help people in the company itself. You know, I don't know, you know, Calcutta is a large city. So, but to find a company that has important connections with their employees' mental well-being, you might be able to get them to help finance MBSR training.
Yeah,
just something to think about.
Yeah, that's a good thing to think about, and it's always helpful if I don't mean to be too discouraging, but for someone to make a living strictly as a mindfulness instructor is difficult. When I was teaching the course, my main income wasn't from teaching mindfulness. It was from the clinical practice that I had. And if you can find a way to do it in the context, as Keith was suggesting, in the context of work that you were already trained to do, as in human resources, that's really that is the place in the organization where this kind of thing might happen. It might be coordinated. And the best way to leverage your ability to be able to share mindfulness is in the context of what your profession is. So I would suggest first going that route, and don't stop finding other training, but find ways that you can share mindfulness in your life and in your work. And most people who are actively teaching mindfulness, like I was a therapist before I retired, and that was something I did at nights as an adjunct to what I did as my career. There are teachers who teach mindfulness in their classroom, and there are physicians who share mindfulness with their patients, and whatever profession that you have, that would be the right context in which to share. Now, that being said, in terms of getting more training, there are some of the courses, the ones that you find at the very top of the list of the ones on the teacher training webpage that you found, are very formal and fairly involved, very good courses, but they each take about several years. There's thousands of dollars in expense. They don't all require travel, but some do. And there are some less expensive options. And if you look on the resources page, you'll see, in fact, I'll see if I can just do a share screen quickly so I can show it to you. I think I have it up on one of my screens.
While you're doing that, Dave, Darna, there are several suggestions in the chat room. So if you look at the chat room, there are a number of people have offered ideas for you, places to go for teacher training, and other ideas for you. So if you look at that, you can take some notes.
And as a comment,
Thank you,
as a
Lauren.
comment for everyone, if you bring open the chat window, the 3 dots in the lower corner, one of the choices, if you click on those 3 dots, is to save the chat, and then you can actually have the entire chat as a text file to go back and look at it later on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you, Keith, because if you don't do that when you're in the meeting, it's gone.
Yes.
So make sure you do that if you want to have that. And Darna, there would be some good suggestions there. And on the screen here that you can see, I wanted just to point out under online, there are 2 programs, one by Shamash Alidina and another by Sean Fargo, that are more customized than the more formal ones. They're not as expensive. They're not as complete as one that's several years long and more intensive. But it's very good training as a way to learn some mindfulness. And again, the best way to teach mindfulness is do it in the context of your own career. So I would say, don't give up the idea of doing human relations, but find a way to share your mindfulness through that. And anybody can share mindfulness in the context of their own work. You don't need to have to be formally trained to teach what you already know. We just say you can't call yourself a certified mindfulness teacher unless you have a certification for teaching. So Darna, does that help?
Yes, it actually helped. Yes,
Okay.
thank you for sharing your insight. It's like straight from the source.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's good to see you. I'm glad you could check in with us.
I'm thankful. Yeah, thank
And
you.
be sure to save the chat so you have it for later.
Yes,
I
yes.
can see there's lots of good comments there. So Lauren, any other hands?
I'm not seeing any other hands in the participant list, and I can look and see if anybody's waving at us.
Okay.
So Dave, if you would take that share screen off, I'll be able to see people.
Oh, okay.
Can't see them now.
I don't. Oh, share screen. Yes. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Okay. So Jim is waving. Yeah, okay.
You can't hear me.
There we go. There we
Jim,
go.
there you go.
Yeah, good to see you, Dave. In the chat room, we had one person from another state and 2 people from overseas, South Africa and in I think it was Switzerland, but the young lady was from Italy. Anyway, I just wanted to say, when I have attended these sessions, the universal connection from people around the world, be they across the state line here, which is 10 miles away from Moscow, Idaho, here in Pullman. But just the things we talk about, I just find I identify with almost everything that people share that is so universal with what we do here. And so that's what I wanted to put out there, is we're all connected. There are so many things that people experience that we also likely have experienced either ourselves or through someone that we know. So it's just wonderful to share that and just find that people around the world, we are so similar in so many different ways. We have so many problems, but we are still so similar in so many ways.
So true. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Jim. And it's interesting, it doesn't have to do with location or career or background. It has to do with what we are already sharing in terms of our sense of what it means to be mindful, of having something in common in that sense, of that kind of sensibility. So thanks for sharing that. And it's great to hear how that works in the small groups, because that was really my hope and my intention, that it would work and feel that way.
So Mary Burke has her hand up. Mary, I'm going to unmute you.
Okay,
There you go.
thank you very much.
Mary, go ahead.
Hi,
Okay.
Mary.
Hi, Dave. No, I just wanted to say thank you as well, because I was one of these people who was shielding, so I was almost totally locked up. But it has been such a fantastic resource. And as Jim said, it's connected us in a way. I've connected with so many people of different backgrounds, different faiths, all beliefs and none. And one thing that it has really done for me is to remove some of my prejudices, because I find myself in groups with people I would never have willingly gone into a group with. And I find they're such beautiful people. How could I not love them? So it's done a marvelous job for my soul. I just like to say that. And also, I went to the Global World Summit, which was absolutely fantastic. I mean, some of those talks were, I could watch them over and over again. So I just wanted to say huge thanks for providing us with all those links as well. And I like to say this to the people of America, you know, don't worry what the outside world is looking at the moment, because the heart of the American people, you know, it'll come right in the end, I think. You know, don't worry about the politics too much, because I have seen the beauty, and you know, it amazes me. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you for that, and we need all the encouragement we can get from other countries. So that's very nice to hear, because we do worry about it, and worry about what's going to happen, and surely what other people think, but more about what's going to happen. So it's nice to know there are people that have confidence about how things are going to turn out. So thanks very much.
Deborah Carter wants to say something. So I'm going to unmute Deborah. I'm trying to unmute her. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Mary, what you just said, it just made my heart expand and explode. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And Dave, really, I don't know how to thank you for everything you do. It's truly amazing. And also I feel like I have to thank COVID. I know that sounds really weird, but I was never able to come to a graduate meeting because living in Africa. And because of COVID, I'm now able to meet all these wonderful people, all these people who are so similar, and we all share such a fabulous connection. And Dave, it's because of you. So as I always say, just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You really are amazing, because this is what you do. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And of course, this doesn't happen without you. Otherwise, it'd be me in a room by myself. And as I said before, I don't do this alone, but it's such a wonderful experience for me to be able to meet you and others and have you be able to connect with each other. It warms my heart to see this happen. That is the thing that is most exciting for me, is to see this happen. So thank you. Well, right now it's at 1:30, so we'll need to formally end. I'm going to keep things open for a little while after those who need to go say goodbye. If there's anything more that needs to be shared or said for 20 minutes or so after, we'll see.
Dave, Louise has her hand up, so I think she has a question or a comment.
Okay, so I graduated last summer. Thank you again. It was great. It was my summer project that I did last summer, and I've been trying to maintain a certain amount, not as much as I was hoping in terms of meditation or mindfulness. But I wasn't able to take part in any of the either face-to-face meetings or any of the Zooms. And this month I was able to, and I'm just taken aback by all of the, in a positive way, of course, by all the openness in the breakout rooms, that the people sharing and discussing certain amount of vulnerability, even, yeah. But the openness and the sharing of situations that I know people around me here and where I live are living, but people just don't share and open like that. And knowing how much people are suffering, but so how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I'm sure you know what I mean, Dave. I mean, like, it's just the suffering's all around us. And yet I was so, I mean, I just loved the breakout room. It was great. You were able to share and listen. And as was said earlier, I mean, we're all the same. It doesn't matter what nationality or what country we're, or what language we speak. So it was more of a sharing, or I'm sure, there's so much suffering in the world, but no one talks. No one opens up around us, basically, or very rarely.
Sometimes I think we don't have permission to do that, because how are you doesn't really mean how are you. It just means hello.
Exactly.
And so it's nice to have a forum where this is possible. And this particular group of people, it's not accidental that we all wound up together. Lauren sometimes would say to me, she'd say, when I have a new mindfulness class, when I'm teaching in-person classes, she'd say, how's the class? What are the people like? I said, they're wonderful. And they're almost always wonderful. And they seem that way from the very beginning. And the truth is, if you stay with any group for long enough, so you really get to know them, you discover that they're at their heart, they're really wonderful people. There really isn't anybody that you can't fall in love with if you really know them at a deep level. But in this group, things are more open, and we have this understanding that it's okay to share from our heart. And so I'm very appreciative that happens and that people are able and willing to do that. It's great to have you here.
And kind of on top of that,
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes in my mind, I wonder, there's some people that I think should take MBSR classes, but I don't think they would volunteer. But it's like, I wonder what it would do to some people that don't, that would seem out of place in this group. If they were to join the group, would they realize they can do themselves a great help by taking those principles of mindfulness and using them.
The thing
everybody I know that's taken a mindfulness class, when they're done, they look at their life differently.
But the trick is, I mean, it's really, you can't force it on anybody.
No, you can't. You can't.
And the times I've tried a few times, when I was doing clinical work, my first 2 years was working in a substance abuse clinic, and my boss thought it would be a great idea. I was beginning to teach mindfulness then, thought it would be great to have me teach mindfulness to our clients, to our patients. And it seemed like a great idea, but you know, they hated it. They hated being forced to do it. They said, so there's kind of a paradox here, because they hated it and they didn't like being forced to do that. They said, you've misnamed the course. You called it mindfulness-based stress reduction. You should have called it mindfulness-based stress production. Because for them, it was bringing up all kinds of things they spent their entire lives pushing away. But the paradox was things did shift for many of them. But it wasn't a comfortable experience for them before. We had to, at one point, program and say, if you want to continue voluntarily, you can, but we're not going to hold it against you if you don't, because we actually made it a requirement. They could actually literally, this is extreme, they could literally have gone to jail if they didn't come to an MSR class. That's not a good way to do it. But the
it's a voluntary attendance.
Yeah, exactly. But the paradox is it did shift people, even people who didn't know that it was happening, but to do it involuntarily wasn't a good way to do it. It was one of our clients came to his counselor, and his counselor asked him, says, well, how are things going? And just in general, as a counselor might ask. And he says, well, you know how I'd have to have the TV on full blast and the radio on full blast to go to sleep. He had problems sleeping unless there was loud noise going on, opposite for most of us. He had to have that kind of distraction going on to sleep. He says, last night I didn't do that. I had the TV off, I turned the radio off, and I could fall asleep. And his counselor, Kathy, said, that's great. So the course is working. He goes, no. It wasn't the course. The course didn't do it. In fact, to prove it, I'm going to turn the TV and the radio back on tonight. So it's kind of paradoxical in how that works, but it's not a good idea to force somebody into it. But if they happen to wind up into it, it can be helpful, but it's not for everybody.
I love the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
Yeah.
I don't see any more hands up.
Yeah, well, thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful being with you. We'll say goodbye till next time. We'll do this again next month.